Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about the sound of the guitar, and I hope you could be interested in sharing, and if you want to write something in the comments you can reply to what I say, and I'll be really curious to understand if you have a different approach from mine. So what I usually do when I start playing is doing something like what I just did. I played notes on the guitar from the lowest ones to the highest ones, and I tried to understand if the sound was mellow enough and clear enough. In particular, when I play highest notes on the guitar, I want them to be mellow. When I play the lowest note on the guitar, I want them to be clear. I don't want them to be too fat in some way, so I want them to be precise. So what I do is usually working with the possibilities of my guitar, changing the tones, and so I usually work in the middle between 6 and 7 on this kind of guitar, which is mine. We know that every guitar is different, so on my guitar it works fine for me when I stay in between 6 and 7. The volume can be on top, or either can be on top or can be at 9, 8 maybe sometimes. We can change the approach, and usually when I play I change the approach while I play to do different things when I play. So playing around the guitar from the highest notes to the lowest notes helps me in understanding if it works, and I immediately change something when I need it. Talking about strings, I usually play, I used to play 0.11, and now I prefer to play 0.10 because I play with many legatos, and I can also try to use more vibratos and other kind of things in which I work on the string, I work on the note, around the note, and I change the sound of it. So the 0.10 is a good solution for me. It's comfortable, and the action of the guitar is also very important, because if it's good enough to play with legatos, I feel relaxed, and when I feel relaxed I can play in a better way everything. So this is very important, the kind of strings. I don't use flat strings because I prefer to feel the string under my fingers, so I prefer to play normal strings for electric guitar. And about the pick, I use this very small pick. It's from Dunlop. I don't remember the number, I can't read it anymore. Anyway, it's a small one, and I decided to play with a small pick because doing this I can stay closer to the strings even when I change string, so the movement is a little bit smaller, and I can control in a better way the strength that I use when I play, and I try to play always in a soft way, so that when I want I can add a little bit extra energy to have some dynamics. So I think that all of these small aspects are very important, because the sound is not only electric, it is not only in the fingers, it is something that adds all of these different aspects. And of course the amp is very important too, and I usually play on a DV, which is not that DV amp. I used to play on those ones, but now I have a speaker and I have a head. It's always for jazz. It's an old one that probably they don't produce anymore. I feel good with that kind of amp as well as with this kind. because they are very transparent and the sound of the guitar comes out in a clearer way, in my opinion, but this is only something, it is very personal, so you could have completely different opinions about that, and I totally accept it. So everyone has got to find the way to say what he or she wants to. And amp is very important, and I usually work on it in the same way I work on the guitar. You know, I just look for the correct amount of bass that I usually try to keep low, not too open. You know, I prefer to have a small amount of bass, but the right amount. So I use some of them, usually a little bit higher than 15, you know, or 3. I don't know how to say this in numbers. While the high frequencies are a little bit are over the half of the possibility you have, and the mids are on the half. Usually I use them like this. So I don't know if it's clear enough for you, but these are some small details that everyone has to change in relation to the feelings that you find that you have when you play your guitar. And when I record videos for YouTube, I usually use a pedalboard, which is something that I use also with the amp. I'm a big fan of the Zoom pedal boards. This is not advertising, it's just what I use. You know, you can use every kind of pedal board, but the Zoom ones for me are easy to use. So I really like the concept that you can use them as if they were some pedals, you know, connected in some way, but you have the same control that you have on pedals. And the Zoom that I'm using now is the Zoom G5N, but I usually use the G11 when I play in my gigs. So because on that one you can use more pedals together, and the effects that I usually use are really basic. I use a reverb, which is the whole reverb, and the amount of it is really changing by the situation, the room and everything. And anyway, I try to use it in a kind of way in which you cannot really I don't want people to listen to the reverb. I want people to listen to the sound, the notes. So the reverb has to be transparent, has to be something that not overwhelms the note. So it has to be a small amount, but the right amount. And I do the same with the delay that I usually use, with few repetitions, and it's hidden in some way, but and I usually use 505. The time is 505 because I like it in this way. As you can see, the second repetition is really clear. The other ones are going to disappear So when I play, if I play one note, it could be really clear that I'm using the delay. But when I start playing more than one note, you are not distracted by the delay. It's like adding an extra, a kind of glue between notes, you know, that can help in making them sound as something more legato, maybe, because the sound is remaining. About the technique that I use on the guitar, which is also, in my opinion, very important for the sound of your instrument, because everything in some way connects and everything is part of your sound. What I usually do when I play notes is working a lot with dynamics, for example. also do is moving my hands using vibratos, using slides, so all of these small details are really important to create emotions, in my opinion, and I try to imitate what a voice could do, a singer could do. Even if I don't sing in a good way, but I usually sing when I play, I usually sing when I write music, and I try to transform the possibilities that I have with my voice in something that I can do on my instrument, on the guitar. And this helps, of course, also in finding melodic ideas and everything, but in my opinion it helps a lot to find a sound, because the more you sing, the more you listen to what you do, the more you listen to what you do, the more you listen to what you do on your instrument, and you can find and you can hear small details that you could want to change or to transform in something a little bit different. So these are the things that I do. And when I play with chords, it's the same, you know. I hope what I talked about could be interesting for you, you know. Effects. On the pedalboard I really use only reverb, delay, and sometimes I use some speaker emulators, and I use some amp, mostly twin reverb simulator, that sometimes I use also when I use the amp, because at the end I think it could be like a kind of filter, you know, that you can use and find some solutions for your ears, you know. And that's it. This is what I usually do and what I usually use to play, and no other things for me, I think. If you have any idea, any comment, anything to ask, I'll probably shoot other videos talking about guitar and talking about things that can be interesting for someone who plays the guitar. And if you have anything that you want to ask, you can write a comment and I'll try to reply making a new video. Bye bye, see you next time.